emotions and letting go of anything that is holding you back. So welcome to this masterclass, Exodus. It's not another plan for you to go and write down and in bed and then it makes no sense to you. It's not another strategy, a system, a structure for you to just feel totally misaligned out of it. What I'm going to be sharing in this masterclass are the 3 truths about why breakthrough right now without recalibration is going to constantly send you back to your old ways. The 3 signs, Exodus, is what your soul is calling for you right now. And the exact shifts that you can make today so you can stop circling, stop going to and froing, and hold what God's already given you. And there'll be an exclusive invitation for you to return to the identity that lets you hold peace, that lets you lead from power, and most importantly, build a legacy without spiraling. Now, I know you've most probably jumped into this, you're most probably familiar to who I am, but this is not about sitting here and making notes. You can make notes if that's what you choose. But it's not about watching this and then finding the next one and finding the next freebie. This is your moment. You're here for a reason, and I want you to really tune into it because this is about remembering what is already yours. So who is this masterclass for? Well, this is for you because you're here right now, right? You're here because you are leading, but silently you're crumbling behind the scenes, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You're holding wealth, but you're leaking power, lacking trust in the provision that is already there for you. Feeling you need another outsourcing fix to resolve the presenting problem. You're building a brand, but you're shrinking in your spirit. You know you have a presence, you know you have a power, but inside something feels discombobulated. I love that word. And you are so tired of strategies, new systems. Everyone talks about it. Well, I'm going to dive in a bit deeper. And you're so tired of pretending. You're so tired of spiritual bypassing, and you are tired of going round the vicious cycle, returning back to the comfort zone, and constantly in the phase of recalibration. And finally, this is for you. If you deeply still believe that peace is something you earn after you've proven yourself, my love, there's a collective identity shift rising as we speak. And I hold the key. I hold the key, and it's why you are here. And that's why this is not a training. This is not how to. It's a deliverance from the old way that has kept you stuck. So before I do begin, you need to know who I am. Well, I'm Sam Evans. I'm based here in the UK. I have a global business, and my purpose right now, more than ever, my calling that I have been divinely guided to do is to lead women like you, leaders, entrepreneurs, mentors, business leaders who are done outsourcing their power, who are done chasing plans, who are done trying to fit into a identity that is not meant for you, and constantly needing to shrink into a box that wasn't meant for you. I don't give you formulas. I don't tell you to perform. I don't tell you how to copy and paste. I walk with women who are here ready to reclaim true peace, to embody pure wealth, and to have leadership through faith, emotional intelligence, and nervous system recalibration at the subconscious level. That's why I wanted to create this masterclass, because I could talk about it on my socials all day long, but this is your moment to deeply understand the power of Exodus, because it's not coaching. When I say not coaching, I'm talking about life coaching. I'm not talking about, here are the next 10 steps. It's not following scripts as an NLP practitioner. It's not about that. It's about finally tuning in to your power, to returning you back to what God's already given you. Because breakthrough without recalibration is like pouring wine into old wineskins. What do you think is going to happen? If you keep pouring wine into old wineskins, it's going to burst. And what that basically means is if you're constantly pouring new information into an old vessel, a conditioned vessel, what's going to happen is you're going to burst. You are going to crumble and you are just going to collapse. In other words, burnout. And it's not because you failed or you've done anything wrong, because no one has absolutely fully shown you how to be the woman to truly hold it. So when you truly hold it, what that basically means is that you no longer crumble, that you know the difference between overwhelm and expansion. You know the difference between going backwards to I'm making a new way. Can you not perceive it? And so this is why it's about identity, not pushing harder, not making more effort. Because until your body and your belief align, you'll touch overflow and you'll spiral right out of it again. And you don't want to just touch overflow. You don't want to just receive certain amounts of income. You don't want to have it all and then lose it all again. It's like a repetitive cycle. And I saw this. I saw this for the longest time. I saw this when the whole coaching industry went wild with coaching jargon words, quantum leaping, manifestation, collapsing timelines, doing this and doing that, portal, 7-7, Lionsgate, all of this stuff. All of this stuff has been branded and marketed for you to jump into someone's world. Okay, it may have worked for that particular person, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. The truth right now is why Exodus exists is because you are here to rise above what is expected from the industry. It's why people are so bored. And it's all coaching. Look, we're all going to get coached one way or another, but I don't even know what else to call it. But for me, it's about movement. Because when you do have your exodus, you're not going to see it in your income. You're going to feel it in your discomfort. Because breakthrough doesn't mean that automatically everything falls into place and that you're safe. Because if you break through and you don't recalibrate, you're going to collapse again. And I've noticed this time and time again. People are only touching the surface when it comes to holding power and wealth. So here are the 3 things I want you to pay attention to, and you may resonate with this. So let's say, for example, you've touched success and then you shrink. You've received a large amount of income. Your clients have paid you X amount of money. But as soon as you receive it, you kind of feel a bit nervous showing up for the calls. Oh, well, I've just charged 10K for this coaching package. But what if I get it wrong? What if I have to give more? What if I have to do this? What if I have to do that? And so what it is, you have not created safety to hold yourself in your power. And what's happened is your nervous system sees the overflow as a threat. And so you go into fight or flight. And this is where you start leaking power and not leading. Number 2, you're chasing safety in plans and mentors. You feel like even though you know you have power, even though you just know you are worth more, even though you know your value, there's a part of you that feels like this mentor who earns X amount of money has the key, has the answer. But let me tell you something. In recent occasions, actually last week, because I didn't respond or jump into a coach's container, her response to me was, that's okay. You're not ready for growth right now, babe. What does that show you about the industry right now? So there's people who just want to have you in just for the sake of money. You can share the amount of money that you earn. It's not a problem. But when you're hiring someone, why are you hiring them? Are you hiring them because you just want to know what it is that you're supposed to be doing? But what if you already know? What if God's already given you the path? What if it is God's already given you the permission to hold it? But what it is as soon as you make that decision from a very lack mentality or maybe an overly excited mentality, then what you're doing is you're actually handing your power away. You're handing your power away to someone else's scripts and methods. And I did this. In 2023. I thought I was investing into systems and structures to help my business grow. But in fact, when I jumped in, I had to do things that I actually didn't want to do. And when I said I didn't want to do it, they said, you need to do it. That's not power. That's not truth. That's not me. And so when we recognize that, what we end up doing is you end up building golden calves in the quiet. Now, I'm going to dive into a bit more what that actually means in a second. But for now, it's about you right now. You don't like waiting. It's having that patience. It's having that trust. It's having that certainty that whatever you want, it's here, it's done. So you build control. You fake peace. You fake clarity. And underneath all of that, No matter how much you try to force yourself and pretend with affirmations and meditations and tapping and whatever that you're going to be okay, your underlying fear in your nervous system is what's going to cause you to feel like you're going to lose it all again. And this is why I created Exodus. Because Exodus exists to break that spiral so you can lead yourself without losing yourself. Let that land. Now, I have got some incredible things I want to share with you, but first I want you to understand exactly the origins of Exodus. So, when we're looking from a biblical aspect, because my husband asked me this question, he says, well, so tell me why did you call it Exodus? I said, okay, Exodus was basically getting the people out of bondage. Moses guided these people through the Red Sea. Miracles were seen. He set them free. He got them free. But what happened on the other side of that? Moses obviously had to go and speak with the Father. And he went for quite some time. And all of the people became weary. They became impatient. And then all of a sudden they started to get angry and frustrated. So instead of waiting in stillness, waiting for what was to come, waiting for the land that was promised, they went into spiraling. They went into self-sabotage. They started to put things into materialistic things and made that golden calf. They made that golden calf, and then obviously they got punished again after that because they didn't wait. They didn't have patience. And it's not punished from a bad sense. It's, well, look, I've already proven this to you and you want to go off and do your own thing, but I've already made you a thing over here. So you're going to have to go and sort yourselves out. And then when you're ready, the path is already here. God's not killing you. God's not telling you off. God's not punishing you. God's not saying you're bad and you're good. He's saying, this is the path. I love you. I'm always here for you. So what happened with me this year is for the past few years, I've been in a very strange place. And I had success. I had the most incredible business. I was earning so much money. I had it all. I had the brand, the reputation, everything was flying. But what happened was, as soon as I received it, I went into this overwhelming emotional chaos and didn't realize that I was actually expanding in that moment. I didn't know how to turn to God. Instead, I spiraled and I gave all of my money to 31 different coaches and programs in the space of 6 weeks. So my big cash months, my big cash money, I didn't have any of it. I just gave it all away. And so I spiraled and spiraled and spiraled. And then in the end, instead of coming back, yes, I managed to get myself back up again. Yes, I managed to go and do a new thing. But instead of following the path that was already created for me, I decided to go and build a training academy because I thought that was the next thing for me to do. And so here I am building the training academy, but at the end of the day, people don't train all the time. And I got kind of bored repeating myself over and over again and having to have quiet times and big launches. I wanted to have consistency all the time with money, with space, with freedom, with clarity, knowing what I was actually doing. So instead of trusting myself, and even though I was believing in God and I was reading scriptures, I was actually spiritually bypassing. Consciously, I'm going, yes, I have faith, but unconsciously, no, I didn't, because I kept giving my money all the way to other mentors, other coaches, other strategies, other plans. I would have done anything just to feel safe again. I would have done anything just to know that I'm going to be okay. I would have done anything just to know that I'm going to receive money. Someone even said, Sam, I'm going to help you make 30K in the first month. No, it didn't happen. So again, I gave my power away. But here's the thing, is that even though we pay for these things to receive something at the end, the only reason we're going to get those things is not for the money. It's for the person to hold it. The power, the peace, and the prosperity. So even though visibility wise, I was like, great, everything was all going okay, behind the scenes, I was bracing. I was spiraling. I didn't know how to hold what I'd built. So instead, I let it go and went and done something else. And then in 2023, my granddad passed away. And here I died. My identity died. And I went through a whole recalibration process. I had to go through a death, a rebirth, and then recalibration. Recalibration is where you are calibrating to the version of you by letting go of the parts that no longer comes with you. And God called me back this year. I went into stillness. And the first chapter I read, I believe it was Hosea, was, where did you go? Where did you go? I didn't leave you. You went off. You decided to go and do your own thing. And one of my key sentences this year is, I surrender all understanding. I surrender all understanding. So basically, means stop trying to think things for yourself and start feeling with spiritual enlightenment. Start tuning into the power that God's given you, which is a soul, which is a spirit. Instead of bypassing it, ignoring it, and trying to control situations, start trusting. And I cried hard. And you can even tell by my presence on social media, I went from wild person to stillness to God to scriptures, and people are like, whoa, sounds kind of coming off a bit differently. What's kind of going on here? And I'm not a Christian, by the way. I just believe in the Father. I've even got my Bible and I read my scriptures every day and I meditate on it and I ask myself, what is the lesson in that for today? And so what I realized is that there were parts of my business that I actually didn't like. There were parts of my business that I felt was overwhelmed. And one of the things I actually said, I wanted just a boutique. So a boutique for me is having a few one-off pieces, collectible items available for you in a store. And you go and buy it whenever you want. Do it yourself. But instead of just having trainings, have more depth in it, like hypnotherapy, the subconscious work, the stuff I kind of do with my one-on-one clients, but all available on a recorded platform. And I built it. And then the goal was build it and they will come. And I've left it. If people want to go to it, that's absolutely their choice. And one of the things I just felt really called for was coming back to one-on-one. Coming back to one-on-one was purely because this is where my business already thrived. This is what God told me to do. And I had realized that I was already bringing people out of Exodus through their own Exodus way back in 2018, 2019, 2020. And instead of fully owning that power, I gave it all away. Now, why did I come back to one-on-one? I came back to one-on-one because I can see so many powerful women out here like you who just don't want to do it like anybody else. You don't want to keep spiraling. You don't want to keep copying other people's content. You don't want to have a system or structure that is like anybody else. You want to do something that is in pure emotional alignment and overflow. And that's where it came to me that emotional intelligence is the thing that I need to be focusing more than ever. So emotional intelligence is basically being super smart with your emotions. Inside yourself and outside externally. People, places and experiences and internally. It's about having the 4 areas in pure alignment as a master of your emotions. Because here's the thing, if you allow your emotions to get the better of you, especially spiraling ones, overwhelmed, negative ones, then they're always going to win. It's not just about affirming new stuff if you're putting it on an old vessel, old beliefs, old stuff. And if you are someone who's had overflow, and then you went to overwhelm and lost it all, I want you to know it's okay and to forgive yourself for that moment because you're being too hard on yourself right now. And the reason why you're being hard on yourself is because you believe someone else would help with the answer, but actually the power and the responsibility is from within you. And so when I birthed my one-on-one package, I didn't want it to do it like before because I was like, I don't want to do it the way I did it before. And before I was using scripts based on what I taught and been learned through my coaching career. It's not about certifications. It's about creating something bespoke. But what is the end result? What is it? It's about deliverance. It's not about just having the success and the money and the wealth. That's all going to come 100%. If you read one of the chapters in the Bible, Solomon, Father asked him, what do you want? Do you want wealth? What do you want? He didn't ask for a palace. He didn't ask for more money. He didn't ask for more people. He asked for wisdom. And what came with that wisdom? He got more. He got everything he wanted because he became wise with the knowledge that's already obtained. And you have enough knowledge. You have enough knowledge. And what's happening is right now you feel a little bit all over the place and you can't help but follow other people because you actually just want to hurry up and get there. But what's happening is your body is trying to recalibrate towards a version of you that is supposed to be here with a version of you that no longer is to be carried forward. Like the people who went through the Red Sea, parted over, they were all delivered, but instead of trusting, being anew, they brought their old behaviors and old habits and old beliefs with them. They got triggered, they got activated, and they didn't trust. Having trust is having faith in the unseen. It basically means saying it like it's already done with the belief that it's going to be available. Now, before I'd even started working with one-on-one clients on Exodus, I actually called it ecstasy. And the reason why I called it that is because I wanted to feel like a euphoric state. Like you don't have to chase a drug. It's a natural state. You're naturally in flow. You're naturally in alignment. But then it didn't feel right. It kind of grew out of it. And that's when I realized I had my own recalibration. It has to be called Exodus. It was going through my head. But I actually was working with someone. She said, no, 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 don't. It is that's your process, but it's called ecstasy. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And now it feels like I've come home. Now it feels like it's my truth. Now it feels like it's the truth for everyone else. No one-on-one coaching packages are ever the same. No one-on-one journeys are ever the same. But what I do is I strip the noise. I strip the hustle and I strip the need for you to prove. You do not need to perform your power anymore. And that's when it landed, Exodus. It's the return. It's the holy homecoming. It's the God-led recalibration for women like you to stop striving and start holding the power, the wealth, the prosperity, everything without letting it go. Knowing how to expand in your power, knowing how to speak your truth, and knowing how to deliver what is meant for you. So, how do you know that Exodus is the proof? Well, I've been actually delivering this work from the moment I began coaching, from the moment I came in the online realm, the moment I started working with women. And what my old way of thinking is you're sabotaging yourself and you need to be self-empowered. Why do you need to be self-empowered? You need to be self-empowered so you trust yourself, you believe in yourself, and you get the things that you want. That's in layman's terms. And in order for you to get the things that you want, you need to have a spiritual connection. You need to have a spiritual strength so you're no longer being attacked by things outside of you, people's places, their comments, their feedbacks, anything. You're in your power, you're in your power, you're in your power, and you know exactly how to rise in it. For example, I had one client who came to me and she was told she had no EQ. Her emotional intelligence was absolutely rubbish. Where is she now after working with me? She's now a woman who is earning $250,000 a year. Another woman came to me, she was depressed. So depressed, she was suicidal. She said, Sam, I'm going to take my life. I can't cope with this anymore. She was renting her own home from her brother-in-law. She says, we'll never get a mortgage. She now earns a multi-million pounds. Sorry, she now owns a multi-million pound property business and earns 5 figures from her own network marketing business. A leader came to me and she was like, well, I don't even know what's going on. I don't even have a team. She got promoted over and over again in her network marketing business. A brand new coach came to me into my world, didn't know what to do. She just had an idea. She now earns 5-figure years. She had her first 4-figure week. She now gets consistent new clients. She charges high-end packages and she's able to get her husband to leave his job. And now they both work from home as self-employed entrepreneurs. Another woman came to me and she said she just wanted to have a business. But what ended up happening, she met the love of her life, had a family and got married. And she never thought that this could happen. And all of this was happening because they came home. They came back to the power that was already within them. And it's not about just having a breakthrough and then burning out. It's not about having a breakthrough and then thinking, right, it's not landed yet. It's not about having a breakthrough and then go, well, nothing's changed. It's you that changes. It's you that evolves. And when you evolve and change, your power multiplies, your prosperity multiplies, and your peace multiplies. How is this landing for you right now? Isn't it wild to think that right now what you're seeking is not coaching or mentorship? What you're seeking right now is to remember who you really are. And a lot of people are saying that, and I'm going to define that for a minute. What that truly means is remembering the power that God's already given you. See, a lot of people right now have most probably done a lot of mindset work, a lot of meditations, a lot of affirmations, and you're following. But what you're actually doing is you're not embodying what you've already obtained. You're still consumed with other people's chaos and noise. And there's parts of you that you recall from your past that you really loved. But there's parts of you that you actually don't want to carry on with. And so what's happening, there is an internal conflict. And this is the conflict that's preventing you from seeing the path ahead of you without the noise, without spiraling, without letting your power go. So when you're remembering who you are, you don't recalibrate, you calibrate. You're in that version of you. Yesterday, I picked up the Bible and it said, put your armor on. Put your armor on in your faith, in your belief, in your emotions, in your state. And I was like, why is Father telling me twice today to put my armor on? It's because yesterday I spoke the truth about the 7-7 portal. All of these things that are man-made, they are man-made beliefs. They're here to create for you to put your power into something else. I don't do crystals. I don't do any objects, or I don't put it outside of me. It's in me. So when I say the power is within you, that's what I mean. The power is within you. If you put your trust more in things outside of you than what God's already ordained for you, then he's just going to go, well, I'm just going to let you crack on. And then when you're ready, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. But you're going to have to go through your own journey. This is one of the reasons why, as a manifester, and I do agree with the parts of the human design, why I go through trial and error. I go through trial and error to remember who I am. Now, you may think, well, that's a new age thing. But here's the thing. God didn't put things here on this planet for us to just completely ignore. He has put certain things in my life for me to take what I need so I can help the women in my world come out into the power that already exists. Manifestors especially tend to really not understand how powerful they truly are. Generators, manifesting generators really don't understand just how incredible it is when they stop and they are still. Projectors have no idea how wise they are and they don't need to seek validation. And reflectors, well, they're just a unique gift. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I do use different tools and techniques in my practice for you to understand what it is that you have to be delivered from. They're just tools I use to help you come back into your power. That's what it means to remember who you are. And what happens when you do? More power, more prosperity, more peace. And with that, you have wisdom. From wisdom comes discernment. With discernment comes certainty. It is done, it is done, it is done. And if that is not you right now, then this is what I want you to do. Here are 3 things I want you to recognize. The 3 truths is right now you're touching success, but you're not holding it. You're not holding it fully because your nervous system still believes overflow is a threat. And so when you have a win, a celebratory moment, if you spiral the next day, you're actually collapsing. So the goal is for you to let that go. Number 2, you're outsourcing your power. You're handing away what God's already given you. He's asked you to steward it. No one can do this for you. No one can hold this for you. It has to come from you. Only you can decide to stop chasing and return to power. And number 3, you're building golden calves. You heard what I said earlier. You don't know how to wait. So you control, you tweak, you prove, you perform. You're trying to act like everybody else. Next scripts, prompts, blah, 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 blah. Yes, okay, they're great for visibility, but are they really you? What if the quiet is holy? What if the stillness is the gift? What if God is preparing you to hold more? What if where you are right now is where you're supposed to be, but not where you're going, because you're supposed to hold yourself, release it, let it go, and then move. This is the phase I'm in now, the movement. This is what I do, the movement, not coaching, not mentoring, not healing, movement. So you're no longer recalibrating, you are calibrated as a movement to create the ripple effect of change. So here are 3 things I want you to do today. Number 1, I want you to really name what you've been performing. When I say performing, means where are you still doing things that are really not for you? Where are you still doing things because if I don't, I might miss an opportunity? Where are you still doing things that feels like you're walking through treacle, like it's such an exhaustion that no matter how hard you push, you're not getting any further? Because the thing that you're actually doing is you're performing. You feel like you have to do it because someone said so. So what I want you to do is I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to say out loud, I've been performing peace. I've been pretending to feel safe. I've been faking clarity. And as you do, know that this is how the spiral breaks with truth. What comes up for you as you say that? Make sure you've cleared the energy, cleared the space, and you do that today. Number 2, I want you to write down, what am I chasing that God's already given me permission to hold? What are you still pushing with your own understanding that is not from God? What is the highest version of you doing, being to get the things that she's got that you're supposed to be doing, but you're not. Because you don't need to become her. She's not a vision. She's not far away from you. It's you. It's like within the pits of your soul. It's in and around you. So what are you ignoring? What are you bypassing? And what are you afraid of actually owning? And then finally, Father, where are you asking me to stay steady when all I want to do is run? Where are you asking me to remain still, steadfast, but I'm allowing my emotions get the better of me? Where am I ignoring my calling? And what are you asking me to face? And as you do that, listen. Allow the answers to come up. It may not come up straight away, but it will come because that will be your next move. That will be your power move. And that's where EQ becomes spiritual leadership. And this is the end of my masterclass. I really want you to understand that Exodus is a moment for you to deeply recalibrate and shed the identities that are still weighing you down. I see comments all the time in threads, especially people who are struggling. The Father's calling you, but you're crying. Why are you crying? Because your soul wants to break free. You know the things that you're doing are driving you crazy because you're angry and you're frustrated. You know you're worth more. You see all these coaches sharing wins and celebrations. You possibly need to go back and get a part-time job. You got to do what's right for your nervous system. But the thing is that you still need to go on the journey that's already been ordained for you. And when you are in that moment with emotional mastery, that's where EQ and wealth come together with God. You will not only achieve the things that you want, collapse timelines, quantum leap, as they say in the New Age world, but there is no time. It's why I don't do SMART goals. You don't put deadlines and times. You trust and act as if it's already done. And in order for you to do that, you have to recalibrate into the version of you who has it all. And that version of you is who God has already told you to be. But you chose to ignore it. You chose to bypass it. And you chose someone else over your own authority. You're not here to be like everybody else. You're not here to be